This is Satanist Jared McGee, and you're listening to The Devil You Know. The Devil You Know is like an audio book for your ear vagina, and you've just been given the mating signal.
Hold on.
We're going to have to do it again. I said it.
You said book.
Audio dick.
It's an audio dick. Audio dick for your ear vagina.
Right, audio dick. I'm sorry. The Devil You Know is like an audio dick for your ear vagina. Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Testes, two testes. Okay, good.
Rolling?
Yeah, whenever you're ready there, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Devil You Know podcast, episode 68, where we are doing another circle of jerks.
Right, because there's no to be found anywhere. So
Yeah. All right. So who we got this week, man?
We've got Raul Antony, Andrew Rawson, Jeff Bowling, Josh Armenta, Lorcan Black, and Raul Atondo, and me.
What's up, everybody?
How's it going, everyone?
Hey, everyone.
That sounded real enthusiastic. That's awesome. Hey, all right.
Awesome.
Dude.
I'm moderately keno. All right. That's great. So what are we going to talk about this week, Dorian? What do we got?
We got a list, a bunch of topics. Several people have brought up some of their own ideas with them. I'm going to start off with something only because I got into a discussion on a gun group on Facebook this week, and I thought, this might be a fun topic because I know a lot of us in COS are gun enthusiasts, and what I wanted to talk about was somebody posted a topic. It had to do with carry conceal and the stores that have signs on them that say not allowed to have, no guns allowed. Mm-hmm. And they posted the question: do you carry your guns into these stores?
Well, let me start off by just saying that no one knows if I do or not. That's the whole point of being concealed.
Yeah, you're right.
Because when it comes down to the brass tacks, they can request it or saying no guns allowed. But if it's not, even in a federal building, you're not allowed to. But they're not allowed to say that, but they do, and they enforce it and all this other crap. But they're not. That's unconstitutional. And once something becomes unconstitutional, it's null and void by the Constitution itself.
Well, by the state's constitution, I mean that would be state.
I was
law,
only talking about my
right?
constitution.
Well, and not only that, but private business also.
Yeah.
I mean, can that be enforced? If somehow it comes out that you had a gun on their premises, is that a violation of anything on their behalf? I don't know.
Could be.
Well, that's what we're discussing.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear you guys. I gave an opinion that wasn't necessarily favorable to a lot of the people on there until I kind of fully explained myself. But I'd like to hear what you guys.
I'm sure that if a place said no guns allowed and you carry concealed, no one knows. But if they do found out, or somebody said, "Hey, he's got a gun. I saw it when he reached up on the shelf to get something. I saw his gun." I'm sure the cops are going to be called. I'm sure the manager's going to be in on it, and you're going to, get thrown out at least.
Yeah. I mean that's the thing. They'll definitely throw you out, and maybe.
At the very least, they might say something. You'd be like, "Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't see the sign," or you can always say, "Oh, I didn't realize. I always have it, so I forgot."
Yeah.
Well, I think it varies. It varies by state. Like I know, I live in Las Vegas, and here in Nevada, there's two opposing rules to it. One is that basically nobody can say you can't bring your gun in.
Right.
But the other one is private property laws trump everything. So. If you go into a store that has a sign posted, you're perfectly legal to be in there, but they can trespass you for any reason.
Interesting.
Huh. I mean, I live in California, so it's doesn't matter.
So you just don't have guns.
Nobody has guns.
That's like Russia. Yeah.
Except for
I actually
gangs.
don't own any guns. I cannot confirm or deny any gun ownership.
We hear you. Don't worry about it.
Well, the one of the things that when I read the question, like I said, this was a private Facebook group, and so I just decided to put that I do not like movie theaters, certain places where you're not supposed to have them. Even though I carry everywhere else I go, what I choose to do is basically not give my business to a place unless it's something I really need, and then I respect it because I didn't say that I was a Satanist, but what I said was I live by a creed of when in another's lair, show respect or do not go there. And a lot of people were like, well, yeah, but you got to protect yourself. And I'm like, I don't have to go there. That's the thing. I don't have to go to the movies, So I could wait till it comes out at home. So when it comes to those situations, I just decided, you know what? How much do I want to go in there? Because if it's a store that I need some groceries from, fuck them. I'll go to the store down the street that doesn't have the sign up. But and anything, I could say that's even a good statement just to say, if you won't allow me to protect myself, I won't give you my business.
Yeah, message to business owners: if you support the Second Amendment, you'll never go broke.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, one can say that
that's a grocery store because I can't walk 20 feet without running into someone who's open carrying. So it's a wonderful grocery store.
Yeah, I feel safe in there.
Exactly.
And it certainly depends on the place. And that actually is a good point, like what you just said, John. I mean, like, if there's one place that I actually don't carry my gun on me in, it's actually at gun shows. Because, fuck, dude, I feel very safe, at a gun show.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never really even thought about it out here in Arizona because everyone carries out here.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
No one cares.
But I mean, like John raises a good point. Like, of course, the point of carry conceal is you don't know if I'm carrying. If you're doing it right, then hopefully they will know anyway. But I mean, I think the point in the Facebook group and now what I'm bringing up to is not necessarily would they know or not. It's just more of a, I guess maybe you could call it a moral issue. Would you do it anyway?
Right.
Yeah, I think it depends on the need. How badly do I need to be in that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Over here in Maryland, laws really, really are tough. So you don't see, I mean, literally, nobody can carry over here unless you're law enforcement or a private detective or maybe a store owner who has to handle money. But, I don't see those signs over here.
I saw this other story too, saying about I think it was Texas. They're trying to pass a law where first responders like EMS and firefighters, they should be allowed to carry a weapon. I think there's a law. The law right now is that once they go on the job, they have to actually put it aside, and like they cannot carry, even though they personally.
That's crazy.
So yeah, because of some law, like they cannot carry a gun that they normally would. So, and that can make for dangerous situations because a lot of times they're arriving before police arrive in a potentially dangerous situation. And also, in some neighborhoods they might go into it, they don't know what they're walking into. So they're looking to change that law there. I saw just the story pass through my news feed. I didn't read through it, but
that actually would be it would actually be a really good idea for first responders to have proper training for whatever situation. Because you're exactly right. They're going to get to that situation quite possibly before an officer can get there.
Yeah.
Just a quick question: how many of us actually carry concealed? I know Dorian does. I do. Andrew, you?
I do.
Jeff?
I do.
Yeah, I carry all the time.
So everyone does? Who doesn't? Maybe that's
probably... No, I don't.
I'm allowed to because I'm law enforcement. So.
Wait, is that Lorcan?
Yeah, I'm allowed to because I'm law enforcement. So.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm in California.
So how about in the movies? Do you guys carry in the movie theater?
Well, I do because, Las Vegas, they're very gun friendly, so I carry all the time.
Yeah.
I carry everywhere. So.
Yeah, me too. Cool. All right.
Have you ever had a situation where you came close to feeling like you had to use it?
Actually, once, yes.
I haven't had that since I got my carry, but just the way that I've seen things down here, I don't doubt that I will have eventually.
Oh yeah, you moved. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
I just hang out with John, and I know he's got a piece, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, seriously, I carry everywhere, even in Cali.
Keep that in mind.
They can't tell me. No, they can't tell me what to do. It's messed up. No, I'm kidding.
You're not my real.
I like carrying here though, and I carry into movies if I go to a movie because they don't have a really right to tell me that not to carry, not to protect yourself. Hey, you can come in here. You're just not allowed to protect yourself here. Yeah, great. I want to come in. That's great.
Well, I mean,
because nothing bad has ever happened in a movie theater.
Yeah, but it's also their business. I mean, that's like saying, I can't tell people what to do in my shop. The fuck I can't. I mean, it's a private business. It just kind of depends. I mean,
but
again,
they have to find out first.
Exactly, like you said, John. I mean, that's the whole point. You don't know that you're carrying. So I mean, I think that's more of a problem with people who are not cautious with it. And,
I think there's definitely a culture of fear that's been built up too, where why wouldn't business owners be happy to have people who are trained in carrying in their facility?
Right, because
of
those people are
skewed.
Right. Those people are law-abiding citizens. They went and got a CCW permit. They abide by it, and they carry concealed lawfully. And I would love to have everyone like that come in. They're not going to do something stupid unless they're a maniac. But that's a separate.
Well,
issue.
especially if you, like you said, I mean, if you had a maniac pulled out a machine gun in the middle of a movie, it would be so much better to have a whole bunch of guys pull out their carry conceal and go, "Oh yeah, motherfucker," And,
that's why it didn't happen in Arizona. It happened in Aurora.
Like what was that? What was that movie where someone busts into like a cop bar and they're trying to like hold up the bar and everyone in the bar is cops and it doesn't end well for them.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Cool.
All right, so let's move on to this topic of the band Marduk Black Metal. Marduk. You guys, who knows the story well enough to explain?
Well, I actually have it in front of me.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So apparently, Black Lives Matter and the Antifa organizations were calling for a boycott of their North American tour based on supposed ties to Nazism or white supremacy, simply because Marduk has a lot of they talk about like World War II a lot. They use terms like Frenchfine and things like that. And of course.
And nothing ever happened bad from a Norwegian black metal band. So.
Oh yeah, of course. And they also were friends with Varg. But basically they've also said that these organizations being BLM and Antifa have said that even their anti-Christianity is just a mask for anti-Semitism.
Oh, so yeah, I read that.
They're just making up a bunch of shit and boycotting them. But Black Lives Matter actually did drop the boycott, but Antifa went on with it and actually got one of their shows canceled.
Yeah,
because of threats of violence.
Now, I know a lot of those bands, especially a lot of the earlier Norwegian black metal bands that have some criminal records. They have a harder time. Like they can only do one or two shows here in the States.
Yeah.
Do you know? Did Marduk have a full tour and just lose one show, or is it?
Yeah, they only had one show canceled so far. They just played here like last week, so.
Yeah,
and quite frankly, the show was sold out or almost sold out.
Well, and it's probably going to sell better. It's going to sell even better now. They're selling tickets for them now.
Yeah, but I don't think that Marduk is smart enough to do that intentionally. Honestly,
no, I wouldn't think.
No. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of new to the black metal scene in America, but this kind of stuff has been going on in Europe for a while. You have, and also in in the States here, you've had this happen with other genres, like extreme industrial and neo-folk genres. I mean, this has been a thing for a while, but right now, just Antifa has made some headlines in the news, so they feel empowered, and they've got like this alliance with the BLM now, so they have a bigger voice, it seems.
It was actually it was the club just decided to just cancel the whole show, right?
Well, yeah, because and this is usually the case. I mean, as somebody who's worked with promoters who's been in these situations, that's usually the case. The venue will say, well, we cannot guarantee security, so then it becomes like an insurance liability issue, and then they cancel, or they'll come back to you, the band or the band's or manager, and they'll say, okay, well, we need $5,000 to cover the security, or they'll come up with some ridiculous money. And in some cases, like the bands will actually front the money, they'll come up with the money, and then they'll just throw up another excuse and be like, oh, okay, well, blah blah blah. It's usually they just some venues just don't want to deal with it, because there is a legit threat. So
sure,
there have been situations where they'll these groups will harass the venues in future performances, future concerts at the venue. So
I think it was Death in June had a lot of issues with that in the past. I don't know if they still do or not, but they've had a lot of issues with the Antifa crowd and whatnot.
I've never heard of that band. What is that? Another metal band?
No,
they're a neo-folk band.
Yeah, yeah, and they haven't. They've had issues. They definitely had issues. They've had people attacked at their shows, outside of their shows and stuff. But they haven't toured in a while. And actually, they're going to be going on tour later this year. So I'm kind of, I'm wondering what's going to happen this time around. It's probably going to be a shit show. I can almost guarantee it's going to be a shit show. Yeah. But we'll see.
This is the perfect time if you want to drum up some controversy to go on tour.
Yeah, and I mean, they're saying it's their last tour, but you never. They always say that. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So this is just kind of going to be par for the course for anybody who is slightly controversial in their lyrical content, especially. I mean, I've got a couple of Marduk's albums, and I mean, it's not shocking to me. It's not shocking to me because I listen to that kind of music, because I listen to black metal bands. But I mean, obviously, they are from that kind of genre where, it would freak some people out.
Yeah, and the funny thing is too, they have this whole like guilt by association thing. Like I think there was another tour. I don't know if it was Marduk or another band, and there was like a Mexican band that was playing with them. And like they defended the band that was being accused of this Nazism and saying, dude, we're a Mexican band playing with them. Right. And of course, Antifa is going to say like, well, you're just internalizing racism and you're just a traitor. And like, it's like, yeah. And even I saw this interview with the singer of Marduk when the interviewer asked him about like, do you believe in the supremacy of European nations? And then he throws it back as like, what makes Europe supreme? What would make them superior? And he was saying, well, Europe is first world nation or something like that, is a first world nation, and versus third world nations. And then he said, well, what makes America first world? And he's kind of like throwing it back, saying like, based on your perspective, these countries are not better than the others. I mean, he kind of seemed like defending third world nations against like bigotry from other nations. So that's not the kind of thing you would hear from a Nazi or white supremacist.
It depends, I guess, on how intelligent you are and if you're paying attention to the world where you want to get your stuff into. But there's a marked difference too between like bands like Marduk and actual National Socialist black metal. I mean, there are bands out there that like espouse Nazi ideology. Marduk is clearly not one of them.
Yeah,
and I've played in a metal band before where I wrote the raciest thing I could think of, just because why not push some buttons? And it's not something that I necessarily felt. I just wanted to push buttons. So I mean, I understand that aspect of it, but now, so now we're dealing with this era of everyone super sensitive and looking for the bad in everything. Is this just going to cause future touring problems for a lot of bands out there, or is it everyone going to mellow out?
I mean, if you look at Antifa's website, the people they consider fascists, it says who are fascists? Republicans, libertarians, centrists, literally anyone who is not far left is a fascist. And they think
it's a trickle down. It's a trickle down business
violent against them.
And we can transition to one of the other topics we talked about, the whole Milo thing. But during the Milo riots in Berkeley, one of the tags that was on the wall was liberals get the bullet too. You know, it's like that's how they see it. It's like if you're not one of us, you get the bullet too. So that's the kind of attitude these people are trying to bring up.
And I think
how about the
like
music?
It's a trickle down business thing, because music is a business as well as being art. More shows get canceled by venues or whatever, or the more they can push this out, the less booking agents will be willing to work with bands, the less other venues will take a show. So it could have severe ramifications. But extreme metal and any type of subgenre of music has dealt with this before, so I'm sure we'll all come out on top.
Right. And on that, it could easily end up, it could end up burning them in one city or two cities, but at the same time, like we were saying before, it could easily just push more business for them in other cities where they don't get canceled. So
yeah, I think if anything, like for me, that might actually drum up more interest. Like, this band's getting banned everywhere. I got to go see this shit,
Right.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that propelled people like Marilyn Manson to, superstardom. Was not. I mean, he wrote some cool music, but it was his antics that propelled him, because people were so shocked and said, "Don't go see this." And the youth in you goes, "Well, shit, I got to see it then."
Oh yeah,
right. Like, hot shit, Dave. Check this out.
Is the music any good, or do they suck like Ghost?
No, they're good.
Marduk doesn't sound like Blue Oyster Cult.
Good. Yeah, they're black metal.
But if you like black metal,
Ghost.
it's a good band.
Ghost rhymes with joke.
I don't even think they call themselves black metal anymore. They call themselves like
John.
It's so bad.
Well, I wouldn't doubt if they've chosen a new title, because that's what bands now do is subgenre after subgenre. But whatever. I mean, I still put them in the same. I put them in the same category myself as as all.
Yeah.
So I mean, them and Dark Throne and Emperor and all that kind of stuff.
Topic kind of applies directly though to Satanism, because here we are as a religion who embraces things that are emotionally charged and uses them. Yeah. I'm sure all of you, most of you are friends of mine on Facebook, so I'm sure that all of you have been called a Nazi sometime this week. We of course we know that Satanism is open politically. It's up to the individual to pick their politics, as it were. But there's, hell, I use the wolf's angle in almost everything I do, and I get called a Nazi every other day, but I'm the farthest thing from a National Socialist you'll ever meet.
I just got a text from Josh saying that TDYK has just been added to the Antifa's ban list.
Oh, shit.
Gotta listen to that.
That'd be fine with me. Whatever. Please promote the hell out of our show.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
already.
A lot too, and I get sideways looks for it sometimes too. So I relate to that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, as because I've gotten some heat about this in the past, and but all it takes is just a moment of research to realize, okay, as Satanists, we're not collectivists. We're individualists, right. And we're also not afraid to explore the kind of taboo, and the forbidden. So just because we might be interested in exploring these ideas and maybe try to glean some kind of knowledge and wisdom out of them, it doesn't mean we buy into everything that it's that they may espouse or they're being accused of espousing, because keep in mind that a lot of times these artists or our authors or writers or whoever personalities aren't always actually espousing what they're being accused of. So
absolutely, yeah.
You know, speaking of espousing, what about Milo? Who's this Milo guy?
I can give you a rundown on that if you want. But
yeah, let's.
I have no idea.
Explain this. I really don't know who this is.
I don't know.
Well, he is a kind of a provocateur. He's an internet troll. He got his start from the Gamergate controversy, which was, you had these feminists trying to say that violent video games make you into, a misogynist or turn you into a rapist, and so he kind of was born in that, and then he became kind of just a provocative internet celebrity, and then then he got tied up with.
Does he actually believe that video games will make you?
No. He's attacking that. He's attacking that and saying, and he is attacking feminism, and he attacks social justice warriors.
Okay, I like him already.
Yeah. Okay. But let's keep things in perspective. He's a Catholic, and and he also talks shit about transsexuals, and he also says that transsexuals are mentally damaged and things like that, which that gets into some shaky territory.
Sure.
Yeah. So the thing is, he has said these things, and he's so that's the thing, so
he's just a guy who runs his mouth a lot, basically.
Runs his mouth a lot. He's attention seeker, and he goes on these college tours, and during this Berkeley tour, he got also some attention by kind of profiling the alt-right, right? He wrote some articles on Breitbart about, he was also the editor at Breitbart, so he wrote some articles about the alt-right. He never claimed to be alt-right himself, back and forth.
Who's playing with the bottle? What the hell is that?
Sorry.
Yeah. So,
Relax.
anyways, during his Berkeley show, there was a big riot outside, people calling him a Nazi and all this stuff, and they burned that campus down essentially, and that propelled him into the mainstream. You must have seen something in the news about that.
Yeah, we were talking about something. I guess now it's coming together now, because I only get my news from you guys, so what's going on.
Well, it's also important, I think, to point out that he is a gay Jew of Greek descent.
What?
So I think it's also important to point out that he is a gay Jew of Greek descent.
So
with a black boyfriend.
Yeah, who only likes black dicks, apparently.
Yeah.
Huh.
So he's
the only thing I knew about him as of today was Jared McGee posted a meme, said that he's tired of hearing about Milo, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's the trending topic on Facebook. But so anyway, but he's Catholic, so there was a podcast about a year and a half old where he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he started talking about how he was molested by a priest when he was 15 or 14, I forget. But anyway,
weren't we all?
He kind of he was deflecting, saying how do you think I got so good at giving head was from that, blah blah blah. And he started and then he started to talk around what's an acceptable age of consent, and he started to get into some really murky territory where you don't want to talk about this stuff. That's you're just opening up a can of worms there, and he did. And so he was supposed to be a keynote speaker at this big Republican convention coming up, and some people who did not like him on the right, because he does consider himself conservative and all that, put out the videos, and now he's being accused of defending pedophilia and stuff like that. So he had his $1 million book deal canceled. He resigned from Breitbart, and now so his career is pretty much over now, and everyone's attacking him essentially from his left and right. He's got his fans still, but everyone is kind of just put in awkward situations. Do you defend Milo? Why didn't you defend him before? And all this stuff. And I don't know. To me, I see this stuff. I'm not too familiar with his stuff. I've watched his stuff just as a curiosity, as kind of a provocateur. That was interesting, but it just really sucks because he sounds like he's defending Catholic priest rape. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. Not only that, but I mean, if you're an intelligent individual at all, the minute somebody asks you, what do you think should be the legal age? I don't care what you believe. If you're an intelligent being who wants to be successful in life, you say 18. No exceptions.
Yeah.
You say.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It was actually an interesting interview because I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched the segment where he talks about the Catholic priest, and Milo, however you pronounce his name, has made a career out of being a showman basically, and using controversy to sell. And it was the first time I've ever seen him not able to get back up after being knocked down in an interview. Like usually he'll come right back and he'll come out swinging and come back with facts, whether they're made up or not, or statistics or whatever, and he'll just keep it going and keep the interview focused where he wants to be. But it almost looked like he just died on the interview.
Huh.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Dorian, when you say 18, can we count the 40 weeks that they're in the womb?
I mean, yeah, why not? Why not?
Just wondering.
It's like 17 and a half, whatever. I don't know.
No, John, you can't, because those 40 weeks don't count. God damn it.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to decide if you're pro-life or pro-choice first.
Oh no.
I keyed.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's something. This kind of stuff he was doing on these shows, they were before he was when he was a nobody. Nobody knew who he was. He was doing these no-name podcasts and Joe Rogan's a big show, so he was starting to come up a little bit on that. But he didn't expect to be like, he was lined up to be a Fox News contributor. He was lined up to he was gonna essentially open for Donald Trump at CPAC. He was on the way to becoming a major mainstream political figure, and now that's all been burned down because of these comments. And that kind of shows, like, once you step into the mainstream, they're gonna go into every detail of your past, and they're gonna these people. Apparently, there's a story that like they spent like almost $250,000 on research on trying to find some stuff on him, and this is what they found, and this is what they pinned him on, and they tanked him. I mean, and I'm no way gonna defend him on this stuff. It's just as Satanists, it's like you look at this, you might look at like provocateurs like him and get some interesting insight on things, and but you realize though there are people out there who are your enemy, and they will use everything in your past against you. So
then, do you think is this somebody who is trying to be edgy, funny, and took it too far to?
Yeah. That's I mean,
kind of. Yeah, he uses, like I said, controversy to sell his image. So he actually does have some points that I like, but he has some that I don't. But he'll use like shock and comedy to get a stage, and then once he's on that stage, he'll say whatever it is that he believes or whatever.
That's the thing, is like, all of us can joke about, say Catholic priests, but if you're going to try to become a Catholic priest, you probably shouldn't do that, and the same thing with any area. Like if you're trying to be, if you want to be on the, the devil, you can talk about all the perverted jokes you want, well, laugh or whatever. But, if you're trying to be important in politics, yeah, you better watch it,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm confused because is Joe Rogan a big thing? Because Dorian and I just turned him down on an interview. Should I call him back?
Oh no, don't worry about it.
Damn it.
So what was it?
It's like a Fear Factor guy.
He's like the Henry Rollins of MMA.
Oh God.
Liar.
Well, there was a COS Third Side article on the whole Milo thing, but it was not a defense of Milo or anything like that. It was just more of like a free speech piece, it seemed.
Yeah.
But so that's how I would see it, I guess. I mean, is that it's you might defend his right to say whatever it is he says, and you may even disagree with it, but Yeah, it seems like he got eaten by his own almost, by these conservative Republicans who was like, okay, we tolerated you for this.
And if you look at it too, the Antifa crowd and the Black Bloc and what do they call them, third wave feminists or whatever, they've been fighting against Milo and giving him more attention for a couple of years now. But what it took was some targeted releasing of videos in order to basically bring him down. And meanwhile, they're burning cars for no reason, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see more of that, I think. And
fascism with fascism, I say.
Yeah, that is
fascism for everybody.
Fascism you can vote for.
Well, I think the one analysis I saw was like you have both the left and the right kind of fighting it out, over who's more fascist than the other, and I don't know. I mean, even at least for perceptions, I see it. I don't know. I don't even think fascism even means anything anymore. But
right.
Well, I certainly think that given the definition of fascism, that nobody who is fighting against it or fighting for it today even understands what the hell it means.
Yeah.
This country has never seen fascism.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think we should try to strive for, as much liberty.
Give us time, damn it, jeez.
Right.
So let's
speaking of isms,
on Sweden.
Oh yeah,
right?
okay.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of days ago we were all joking about Trump saying something happened in Sweden. We're like, nothing happened in Sweden, you idiot. And now is he predicting the future? Because now shit's going down in Sweden.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like there's. He made some silly comment about like, oh, I heard about this thing yesterday in Sweden, and obviously there was no specific event that happened, and of course the media turned around and turned that into like, oh, Trump talking about fake news and
Bowling Green,
yeah, Bowling Green, which was a stupid shit. That was a stupid thing.
Yeah,
that was legit stupid.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, that was like, what's her name? I forget her name.
Conway.
Yeah.
Who?
Kellyanne Conway. She's Trump's
Conway?
Yeah.
Tim Conway. He did Dorf on golf.
Yeah. He's now Dorf in Sweden.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know that guy. Okay.
Well, anyway, yeah, he I guess so. He made these comments about Sweden. People laughed it off, and then the next day there were riots breaking out in Sweden, and these highly immigrant refugee populations in these towns where there's like these no-go zones where police won't go because they fear for their own safety. And so there's like all this footage of these cars on fire. Like there's like a car like going down the street in flames, and like you have these reporters being attacked who are trying to cover it. It's a mess, and so people are like, oh, Trump predicted Sweden.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this has nothing to do with this topic.
Shit was already going down in Sweden before, so.
Yeah.
True.
But this has nothing to do with this topic. But I've never been a big fan of like the David Icke lizard people run the world conspiracy theory thing. But if you look at Donald Trump and Kellyanne Conway and Steve Bannon and all these people who are basically in positions of power in Washington now, I'm starting to think maybe lizards really do run the world.
It's possible. It's possible.
I mean it's not because of their actions, it's the way they look. Like they're not wearing their skin very well.
They just spray it orange.
Yeah. That's the camouflage.
It'd be huge.
Yeah, and what is it? What was it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with getting power anyway? I mean, they might not be lizard people, but yeah, they're getting something out of it. Yeah.
They all look like, I don't know, like they're melting. Like it's the worst rendition of Mars Attacks that ever happened.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
So now is the Sweden incident that's related to extreme Muslim? Is that what's going on there?
Yes.
Which is kind of what's weird about that is, doesn't it seem strange to you that like if Trump says something about it one day, you would think the extreme Islamists would be like, "Oh shit, let's keep it quiet. Keep it quiet this week. Let's just be on the down low, and prove this guy wrong so we can get into the U.S." I mean, they really just kind of make it hard for themselves.
They don't go for keeping it quiet. They're all about being loud and proud. So.
Well, yeah, their
basic
philosophy is throw gasoline on every fire if they can.
Yeah, I saw a couple of videos about them saying that this country will be a Muslim country. They're not going to stop until it is, and all this other horse shit.
Well, there was this one. I don't know if this is Sweden. Yeah, well, what I'm talking. I don't know if you're talking about is Sweden. But the one video I saw earlier, and I don't know if it was this week or if it was just a few months ago, but the CBC sent some reporters there to report on these Swedish no-go zones, and they were there with police, and everyone was friendly and nice and talking to them on camera. But then as soon as the police left and they kept filming, like the crowd just totally turned on them. Like crowds started throwing rocks at them, telling them to get out, and like punched like one of the other reporters and like chased them out of the area. So, it kind of, yeah. So it's like you have one, you have one perspective when the camera is on you, and then when the cameras come out, leave, it's a whole different world.
What are the gun laws in Sweden? Anybody know?
No guns.
Oh, isn't that weird?
They're anti-gun.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah. No, but it's funny the whole Islam ideology thing, because
ideology.
There's a lot. Yeah, ideology, exactly. Because there's this whole back and forth, like where people are talking about moderate Muslims this and yada yada yada. But the thing, I spent a little bit of time in the Middle East, and I can say assuredly that they may not all be extremists in action, but they're all extremists in thought. Because like I have the sigil of Baphomet tattooed on my forearm, and one time we were hanging out with this Iraqi army like battalion that we were training, and one of them saw it, and they didn't care what the symbol was. They saw the Hebrew letters, and I was in a fight just because I had Hebrew letters tattooed on my arm. I'm not even Jewish. Shit. But it was instant, and this guy wasn't a terrorist. He wasn't a whatever, but he was like, "Fuck the Jews. He's coming for me right now because I got Jewish letters."
Catch him before he lays eggs. Yeah.
So that superseded. That superseded the Baphomet. That was more offensive.
Yeah, he didn't give a rat's ass about the Baphomet. He just hated Jews.
No, they love goats. They're
was
fine
he a
with
Burzum
that.
fan?
No, but it was funny because these same guys, we had been training with them, we've been living with them, we've been eating with them. They had no issues with us whatsoever. They weren't the death to America types. They were actually trying to quote unquote make their country a better place. But goddamn it, Jews were intolerable, and that's just the fundamental cancer that is Islam.
Raul Atondo, I haven't heard much from you. Tell me about your time in Iraq over there and all that. Did you have the same experience?
Who are you talking to?
Raul Atondo.
Ah.
Is he there? Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
There you are. There you are. Go ahead.
All right. So it's a huge experience. What do you want to know specifically?
I mean, was it similar to what Jeff was saying?
So, yeah, we had the Iraqi police and Iraqi highway patrol. And we really didn't work much with them. We worked much with the Iraqi army. And the Iraqi army, oh man, I don't know if they've changed at all. But a lot of them, there's no fucking structure, man. There's just no structure.
Oh, yeah, they're fucking stupid and undisciplined.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm sorry. They didn't know how to do jumping jacks. We were trying to teach them how to do jumping jacks, and they just... It was,
I saw that video. Was that you guys?
It wasn't us, but it was. I think it was a unit though.
Or they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? We know how to kill people. I don't know what you're doing." Jumping jack. Jumping Jehovah's.
Jumping Jehovah.
When do we fuck the goat?
It really is extreme in thought, though, man. It's really, I don't know, man.
You know what it is? I don't find it extreme as much as I do find it primitive. It's primitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very much so.
It's dead.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
You could smell the rust on it like a penny. It's just
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's really not that different from Christianity, except that Christianity, like if you read the King James Bible and the Old Testament in particular, it's just as vicious. Only we've Americanized it and we've mellowed out and we've decided we're not going to tolerate that kind of behavior, and they've just never evolved. Is what it seems like.
Well,
Yeah.
but one of the biggest things that I've discovered is when you do, and I've got a lot of Christians in my family, when you talk to them about that point right there, they will all tell you that, well, we don't go by the Old Testament anymore. We go by the New Testament, where it's all peace,
unless
love,
unless you say you're gay, and then they're gonna
Right.
Exactly.
yeah. We
I
don't
know
pay
it's
attention to
also-
the
what I'm
first
saying
part
is
of the
it's-
book, or just the second half.
We don't follow the Old
Yeah,
Testament.
that's what I'm
Ten
saying.
Commandments
So
everywhere.
the Christians will admit right off that they don't follow the whole stone people to death and all that shit, but Muslims absolutely are all for it right now. So
Yeah,
Well,
there
and
was
that's
this
what I'm
one
saying.
interview
It's an
again in
evolution.
Sweden.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like Dorian said, God hates fags.
Well, yeah, and it's even the moderate Muslims, like I was saying, when you get down and you start like talking to them and you really draw it out of them, they may not be willing to go blow themselves up for the cause, but not a lot of them are actually opposed to it, and none of them are willing to speak out against it.
Yeah, like there's that one interview in that I saw with some people in Sweden, and because Sweden is a very liberal country, they're very progressive in terms of their gay rights and everything, and they were talking to these refugees and these migrants, some of them that have been there for years, saying like, what do you feel about gay culture in Sweden? They're like, no gays, no gays. And they're like, okay, if you had the right to vote, what would you vote? It's like, would you vote to have keep these gay rights? Like, no. So it's like you're importing these people, and then they're bringing over their culture, and they have no intention of integrating with Western ideas. And
No, they want the West to integrate with them. They want the
Yeah, I mean, myself included, everyone here, we support gay rights, we support gay marriage, we want, we support liberty and individuality and individualism, and we want to, judge people by their merits and not by, these like merit and not inherit, I think is the right way of putting it.
Or how well they can give head, right?
Well, that's merit, right? That's merit.
That's merit.
Here's your red card. Now take this banana.
Oh my God. Yeah, but these people, they don't care about a pluralistic society. They want something else. So
Yeah.
So they don't like gays, but they'll let you fuck a goat.
I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
but that's one thing I find so funny about all this immigration
it's your
shit
goat.
is everyone wants to be all for immigration. Let everyone come over here. But most of these people that are coming over are not coming over to be American. They're coming over here to bring their country here, their ideas, their everything about their culture, but they want us, or the people that are here already, born here. They want us to follow their rules, their ways. I mean, you got Muslims out there.
Well, I
saying
mean, it depends on the
They're all
situation
here.
too. I mean, that's rather all encompassing. If you have women and children who are literal refugees who are running from their cities being destroyed, so what they're coming here for is to get away from being murdered. I mean, they may want to bring their own culture for themselves, but it's not always an intent to turn. There are certainly some who would like to
right,
turn
and that's a big difference, is intention versus action. Like, I don't think a lot of them are coming over here with the intention of saying, well, fuck that, America's going to be a Muslim country. But in the back of their minds and the way they're going to handle themselves, they may very well be aiming for that unintentionally.
I mean, how do you vet for that? How do you?
You don't. You build a wall.
Well, I mean, I actually recently heard about what the actual amount of legal immigrants coming into our country. And I was really actually rather shocked that over the last 15, 20 years, every single year we get 1 million legal immigrants. So that's not even including the illegal ones. And that kind of blew my mind. Like, not only am I okay with stopping illegal immigrants, I kind of want to stop some of the legal ones too, because holy fuck, man, we're going to be out of room pretty soon. What the hell? 1 million a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you bring up a good question of how do you vet for it, and how do you vet intention. I mean, even the CIA doesn't. I mean, at least publicly announced. I think the FBI said that they don't have a system in place, and there is no secure way. I think
maybe
Israel
some truth
actually
serum, the lie detector test that might help, right?
Here, have a piece of bacon.
But if they're not intending,
the bacon test, yeah.
Yeah.
And BLTs.
But it's just a side effect. There's no real way to vet for that because it's just a side effect of who they are as a person. But I'm not saying we should just say, fuck it, no more immigrants. Obviously, I think that's a stupid point to make. But there's definitely going to be consequences. And I think, if you look at Europe closely enough, you'll see some of the consequences of unfettered immigration, basically, when it comes to...
Yeah, look at France.
Yeah, when it comes to Muslims specifically. I'll say it, fuck Islam.
Yeah, but I mean, France kind of deserves it, though, right? I mean...
Yeah, fuck France.
What
I'm saying is that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen here. I mean, I've got a friend who lives in Michigan. And he said it's so bad now. There are certain areas that he just refuses to drive through because
How are the gun laws
these
there?
motherfuckers will pull you out of your car. And I mean, he said he hears the call to prayer in his yard. He hears the call to prayer announced through the streets over loudspeakers 5 times a day. I mean, and this is right here in America. So
Yeah.
And what's the gun laws over there? Seriously, like what in Michigan?
In Michigan?
Yeah. No guns?
I don't know.
I think in Michigan it's a matter of the state versus Detroit. Like Detroit has different laws than the rest of the state, honestly.
No, I lived in Michigan for like 6 years. They have concealed carry.
Huh.
And you gotta ask yourself,
they should let the Muslims set up in like Flint.
and of course, Satanists,
like home?
Have some water. Help yourself.
and as Satanists, we have to ask ourselves, how do we benefit from this? And obviously there is a danger from extreme radical Christians who may want to do harm to Satanists, and of course, that's a real thing. But these radical Muslims and even not so radical Muslims, how are they? If they're gonna freak out over, well, actually, they freaked out more about the Hebrew than the Baphomet, but so who knows about that? But maybe they'll find out that Anton LaVey was Jewish, and then they'll freak out about that too. So
I think there are plenty of examples now of Americans who have adopted it but are not the same. And I actually have a friend who is he's a professional comedian. He travels all over the country. He's been on TV and stuff, and he is a Muslim. He's a white guy who you would never expect it from it, but he adopted it because his wife is a Muslim. And I wouldn't say that he's necessarily really practicing. It's kind of like, I was raised Christian, but I don't really believe in it. It's kind of like that. He's kind of like adopted this Muslim ideology. So, it just makes you wonder, how many Americans are kind of like that now.
What's going on over there?
Typewriter?
I'd say it's just like most Christians. They've never read the Bible. They say they're Christian. They go to church once a week for an hour, and they get their PowerPoints. They pay their money, and then they go about their way. And it's the same with a lot of these people who are converting to Islam or to be a Muslim over here. And I see it a lot in the prison system. A lot of people are converting to be a Muslim, and
that's
they still
not
haven't
new.
even read the Quran.
That's where Muhammad Ali got his name from. So, I mean, it's not really a new thing.
No, but I'm saying I'm saying it's just like Christianity. A lot of people haven't read the Bible, but they say they're a Christian, and it's just like with Muslims over here. They're saying that they're Muslim, but they haven't read the Quran yet, and they'll fight for it, even though they haven't read it word for word. They'll fight for it
Yeah.
What's that noise?
What is that noise?
It's like a
It's like
typewriter or
playing
something.
drums on their microphone.
So I got a question, and I'm just wondering, like, as Satanists, would it be smart for us to learn about Islam and learn about Christianity enough to where, you know, in case something happened as far as like a self-preservation thing, or we get forced to
Absolutely
to turn.
You
already know, and you're like, hey, I was Muslim all along.
Well, I think most
Christian.
Satanists that I've met have read the Bible at some point, or at least read enough of it that they get the gist.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, Islam is essentially the new Christianity in today's world. It's, you know, where Christianity was a few hundred years ago. And honestly, it's one of the few sacred cows we haven't fully attacked yet. So,
well, and you know, I think one of the problems with not being able to get rid of Christianity yet is because of this resurgence of Islam. Now it's like now it's just making more people want to be Christian. You know, to say fight Islam. You know, by being more Christian. You know, that's a religion that it was on its dying leg, but it's starting to get a little more strength now thanks to this bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I thought. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say back to the point there of learning other religions and whatnot as Satanists from a survival standpoint. I mean, if it came down to it and somebody put a gun to my head and said, I will shoot you unless you profess that you are a Christian, I'll say it. It doesn't have to be true.
Yeah.
But I'll say it.
Right.
Yeah, I think most Satanists are smart enough to say the same thing. Yeah, you know, it's about survival. You do what you got to do.
Allahu Akbar, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
well, it's the old adage of a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, if we're going to be a wolf in sheep's clothing, you got to know enough about the wool to make it look right.
Right.
Or LeVay called it the cloak of invisibility. Is like, you know, just appears
Harry
normal.
Potter.
Is it? Oh, terrible. Oh man.
That's very
but that's
me personally. I've read the Bible 3 times in my life, and I've read the Quran once in my life. I read the Quran just a couple years ago. Once I got into the prison system because it seemed it was such a popular thing, and I knew it was bullshit either way. But I wanted to know what it was about. But it's what's funny is the Quran and the Bible have a lot of similarities. I mean, a lot of the characters, Moses and, you know, Abraham and all these characters are in the Bible. And even Jesus is in the Quran. He's just not the son of God. He's just a prophet. So, you know, that's one of the big differences between Islam and Christianity, is they don't believe Jesus was the son of God. He was just a prophet. But there are quite a few similarities, and so it's kind of scary that way too.
Yeah, they all come from the same Abrahamic root.
So like I just pulled up a story here about in 2015 there was an art contest in Texas, there was a drawing the Prophet Muhammad, and you would think in America, you know, that would be something you can do without any real controversy, right? But then there was a shooting. It looks like.
And they were dead instantly because it was Texas and they couldn't smell a fucking trap.
Yeah, that's what happened. And but you know, you still think, you know.
So what happened though? Just for those of us that don't know.
A couple of guys tried to attack the. You know, they made it very public in Texas. They were having this Draw Muhammad contest. It was very public, open to anyone who wanted to show up. So of course, you know, a couple of extreme Islamists came to attack and started firing at the building with their guns, and they were taken out really fucking fast because it's fucking Texas. And the guys in Texas were just waiting. Oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot me some fucking Islams today, some Muslims. You know,
you know what I found really interesting though is that like when you go all across the United States, you know, and I've toured with bands before, and we have to figure out how we're going to carry our guns across the country. You know, I come from Nevada. I know, like John, you're in Arizona and all that, and everyone has this image of like Texas being this big like that's the home of the gun in America, and it's really not.
No.
Like Arizona, Nevada, Alaska have way looser gun laws than Texas does.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I live here.
Yeah, and actually, that's a big misconception about Texas being like this, red state. Actually, during this last election, people were wondering if it was actually going to go blue because of the demographic shift in Texas. It's actually considered kind of a purple state. And if demographics continue the way they are with the immigration in about 10, 15 years, that's going to be a Democrat country, Democrat state.
Yeah, but what happened when those guys opened fire?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, that'd be nice if we keep it like this. But
think about
what absolutely
put it on a different angle here. Like if this contest, this Muhammad drawing contest, was in Maryland, it would be a massacre. People,
exactly.
Hundreds of people being killed, all in the name of Islam and all that stuff, and it would be just a big to do.
Now, my question is, do we need to? I mean, obviously, I think we all know this already that there's got to be a caution to how we approach putting a stop to an entire religion because we have a very controversial religion ourselves, and don't really want that. If it's successful with one, it will be successful with more.
Yeah, I think we should separate the religion and the ideology of, or the mindset. I mean, like, you practice the religion, that's fine. But if they have that whole mindset where, they want to kill you because you don't practice their religion, that's what we should be going after. Is that?
Or really, it should be more a stern hold on the whole separation of church and state, and the law is the law. You can believe what you want in your church, but the minute you take it outside, you can shove your Sharia law up your ass because this is the American law, period, and that should go for any religion.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the problem with Islam is it's a total lifestyle, and they will not back down. They will push for their ways 100% on the streets. They want Sharia law bad.
Yeah, well, they got the right to die just like everyone else. So
yeah, exactly.
With my pork lined rounds.
Bacon bullets.
Yep, totally.
So who wins in a like a boxing match between like Antifa and extremist Islam?
Islam one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately. Wow.
Have you guys ever debated any Muslims?
What?
Have you guys ever had to debate any Muslims?
I thought you said dated. Like what?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No, debated.
Yes,
a few times. I
go to work every day and debate them. That's I just get to sit there and watch them, so I debate them a lot.
Oh man.
Yeah, where I grew up in New York City, my high school was like 20% Muslim or so. There's a lot of Muslims.
Shit.
Yeah. Wow. And it was my was a computer networking class. Like, I would be just around kids talking about, okay, Iran's Air Force is better than Yemen's Air Force, and who can take out Israel faster? It's like that's like, or they would talk about I think it's the 6-Day War. Like they would talk about the 6-Day War and how it's like, oh, if they did this different, they could have beat Israel like this. It's like this is what I grew up around with these people, and like debated them on. I was an atheist at the time, and coming into Satanism, so we would talk about this kind of stuff, but. That's from a very young age. I knew it's like, okay, there's something going to go down. And this was before 9/11. And
yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. Zoinks.
Damn. Well, we're at an hour now. I think this about sums it all up, man. This is a good episode.
Oh
yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get.
Well, I've got to thank you guys for being here and being a part of this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was an honor.
For sure. Having us.
All right, guys. Until next time, everyone. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.